How did you leave the kids out? Anyway, that wasn't the slide I started with, but I guess that's good. That's fair enough. When I was a kid, back in Ripoel Falls, Northern Ontario, we seemed to be always outside. We had a road hockey game going on all day, and the only time we had to come home was when our mother called us in for supper. Supper time, we're out there making forts, climbing trees out in the bush. We fish on the creek, down by the river, see who could catch us. We made fires, we had a camp going. I don't think my mother had a clue what we were doing, but I think she's still cared. And then, of course, you know, the bicycle. We learned to ride a bicycle. There was a kid across the street that had a bike, and we all learned to ride the bike on his bike, and we learned each other. Parents weren't involved. I don't know, we survived, and there were rules. And the other thing that the bike gave us is that ability to roam. We had a great territory that we were able to go, and it really expanded. Now today, kids, if you look at the top left, kids today are not allowed to even go to the end of it, or that's about the limit of their thing. They stay at home, we keep them inside nice and safe, we know they're not going to get hurt, and you know, most kids today know more about computers than I do. A 5-year-old knows everything, and I can't even, you know, start the damn things, but, so, anyways, and then of course, as you get older, you know, you continue the momentum, and you become, no, sports is not a thing you do, it's a thing you watch. You know, you become great, knowledgeable about all the statistics about everything that's going on. But you know, really, it wasn't the computer that's killing us, it's basically the automobile when it came on. So the parents, what happened, now you take your kids back in the 1970s, and you became glorified chauffeurs. You know, we drive our kids everywhere now. And that's really sad, because if you look back at kids, a 7-year-old in the 1970s, you know, there was 70% of them that would walk to school on their own. In 1990, this is before computers and the internet, by the way, the statistic went down. The interesting thing is, as we walked less, we got fatter. So the obesity rates and associated disorder is also climbing exponentially. So what are we going to do about this? There is a solution. We know that if everybody had an hour of moderate physical activity every day, you know, the equivalent of walking 3 miles, let's say, we would have a dramatic decrease in what we call self-induced disorders. We're the first generation that will not live as long as our parents. Health promotion. We know that we need to do this. We know that we need to stay active and happy, but we don't do it because the solution is not about knowing that stuff. It has to be engineered. The tobacco industry, they changed my slide, by the way, I had a different one, so this is my first speech. But that's okay, I can improvise. Health promotion for tobacco smoking doesn't work. So there's your hour of physical activity. Now, if we can't, we know this, so the secret now is how do we get people to become physically active? And we have the solution. It comes into what we call health engineering. And behavior, believe it or not, we think we all have free will, but really the way a community behaves is very much dictated by the way the community is built and the infrastructure that's involved. If you go to a city like Toronto, they're fitter by design than we are because their city's more compact. So urban transport is a lot easier to get from A to B using a bicycle over there than it is over here because they've engineered it that way. You try driving, it's very difficult. So what's happening in the city of Toronto is gradually shifting away from providing, infrastructure for the automobile, and now they're shifting towards infrastructure for pedestrians and cyclists. So everybody's starting to become more physically active simply by design. In Copenhagen in the 1970s, during the first oil crisis, they realized that they make a conscious choice to shift the infrastructure from being motor-driven to being self-propelled. And at that time, the user for a cycle was 2%, and now it's like 37%, the highest in the world. This is a parking lot at a school in Denmark in the wintertime. And the neat thing about this is not just the fact that there's a lot of bicycles, but the bicycles have baskets, they have fenders, they have light, they're made to get. Now, what I want to do, my dream, is we're working right now on developing the first tarmac or asphalt pump track so that the kids can go back and learn the skills to be cyclists so that when they become adults, it won't be difficult for them to become using the bicycle for transportation in their community. So we're moving along. And thank you very much, and I hope to see you on the podcast.